Mind mastery, in my definition and how people are using it today, is dealing with self-empowerment, self-actualization. And that's why a motivational speaker, they pull so many people, because it's empowering people, and that's what people look for, some type of empowerment in their life. So when you're dealing with mind mastery, it's not bringing it far-fetched. Whenever you can get an idea or some type of education that can better your life, you just earn some type of empowerment. And that's what we look for as human beings, to better our lives.
That's nice. So what's if we want to empower ourselves, what lowers our power?
Our old thought patterns.
Okay.
So this is what we're talking about: mind mastery and changing your thought patterns and reprogramming yourself. Because usually when a speaker gets done with you, the motivational speaker, you're pumped up. They're telling you can earn a better income, or we all heard it. You can really lose weight and get your health together. You really come out of there pumped up. But then when you get back into your life and your so-called reality kicks in, now it becomes a struggle, because the last pattern that you've been living into makes it difficult. So we're fighting against ourselves to bring on a new idea, but to get rid of the old idea that goes through all the cells of our body. This is the energy that's coming off of us that's creating our reality. So this is real deep, or really reprogramming ourselves.
And we're doing it all the time.
All the time.
It's not something like unique to special people. Like, everybody reprogram themselves all the time. That's change. That's always changing. So how can we make it easier?
And to make it easier, first step is know that this is taking place. That's the first method of understanding. Or how a person says on the road of spirituality, when you realize you're ignorant. Now that's not putting yourself down, but you're looking at your weaknesses, because it could be a weakness. You want to change, you want to evolve, but your own self seems like it's fighting against you. And it's really not trying to fight against you, it's just trying to hold the pattern that you gave it before. That's all it's helping you. That's what it thinks. But you want to move on. So now when you understand this is taking place, you can come back and work with yourself more gradually to change that new pattern, because your body is user-friendly on changing itself.
Okay,
It's all for it.
I really like what you're saying. Like, let's break it for pieces, because that's what makes really change happening. Like, if you go to a theoretical thing and get into it, right?
Right.
So we have our mind, our ego, inner voices, all the same.
All
right?
the same.
All the same. And we have inner voice or an ego or a mind that telling us, no, you should eat like this and this and this, or you can do it. How do you approach these inner voices, your mind, your ego, to at that moment that it happens?
Well, the person that talks to you the most in your life is yourself. We all got these voices going in our head, and we're talking to ourselves all the time. And now I know some people say, well, you ain't married to the person I'm married to. That's just a joke. But this voice that's going on in our head is basically a recording from our past, the way we're thinking, and it's trying to make decisions based on our 5 senses on how it's been trained and programmed. So now you get this new information, this new knowledge, and you want to now approach it and go into it, but you got this old pattern, depending on what you want to go into, that's basically saying, okay, I hear it too, it sounds good, but this is where we're supposed to be. So that's kind of like that self-sabotage effect that's taking place. There was a guy back in the 1800s wrote that a person's not fulfilling their life, I'm just saying it verbatim, is that person is listening to other people tell him what he could do or what he cannot do. And 9 times out of 10, we go to the negative part of us to put ourselves down due to the society we live in. And all of that does play a big part. So this isn't easier said than done either. Even though we're talking, we'll give a method on how to deal with it. You have to constantly, now that's that word consistent we was working on there earlier. You have to consistently work with that new thought, that new idea, a new pattern for it to gradually move away that old pattern. It's sort of like if you started to run, for instance. I remember my son brought this up. He loves running. But when he first got into it, okay, he ran a couple of days, 1 week when he first started. But in his mind, I'm going to run every day. But he did the 2 days. Few weeks went past and he ran again, this time a lot more. And then he got out of that pattern. But he was real good at teaching this now because he's saying that old overwhelming program that was in him saying, oh, it's better to go play Xbox. Right, forget this running. Where it's going to lead us.
And he acknowledged it.
And he acknowledged it. So when he kept that thought in his mind that, no, I still want to run. And that's what you got to do. You got to kind of keep bringing that program back. And then when he got back into running more and more, then it started to weave out the old plan of the Xbox. And he see all the weight losing and, improving. And then pretty soon what really pumps you up is when somebody say, oh, you look different. You changed. You really looking good. And you know us from the new pattern you're into of running. So now you can start teaching other people about what you had to go through. And that's what we do. When you see somebody accomplish something and they tell you their story of what they went through, 9 times out of 10, it was like how they slowly came into it. Old patterns or old events faded away for the new one to start coming in. Everybody got this journey, we call it. So even when we teach about different food journeys, and me, I'll be telling about the breatharian journey and letting people it's not far-fetched. It's not an overnight thing. That old pattern still was here, and you just stick with it consistently, repeatedly, to bring in that new pattern, and it will. Your will is the strongest thing you have access to.
Amazing. So I'm hearing here 3 very, very important things. Like, first of all, bring a new program. Right? Bring a new program. Know your program and bring a new one that you want. Second of all, be consistent with the new program.
Right.
And that's very, very important.
Very
so
important.
Don't give up. And what you're saying here that's very, very important as well, in my opinion, is be compassionate to the old program. Like, know your program.
Right.
Be consistent with another one. But be compassionate that's your program right now. It's okay.
It's okay.
You're not running every day. You're liking eat pizza and play Xbox.
Right.
That's okay. Gradually, when you bring the consistent new program, it will change.
Exactly.
Don't push it. Don't fight it.
Exactly.
Right?
And since we got these voices in our head and you're always talking to yourself, it's sort of like now you are talking to a second person, in the beginning stages. So you can make deals with yourself. In other words, okay, I want to fast for 3 days, but now you start telling the rest of your being, but we're going to have our favorite strawberry ice cream at that one place that we always have it at. You'd be surprised how your body, now there's this new reward that just took place. Yeah, let's do this 3 days and get it over with because that's what we're going to do. You understand?
Yeah. Do you think it's good for you to act like this?
Oh, absolutely.
It helps you.
Because if you don't give the body some incentive or the rest of your being, it is asking you questions, what are you doing? We're going to stay here. Or what you're doing is you're putting too much stress on your body and on your mind. And that's why as soon as people do try to lose weight, try to go on a fast, anything, trying to accomplish something, they go back to their old patterns real fast because this feels comfortable.